Hello, Mob Shard people. We still don't have a name for you guys yet. Whatever. Anywho, Mobstans here for Mob Shards. I am showing you guys a deck profile, two deck profiles, Destiny Hero Old and Destiny Hero New. This is my Destiny Hero New, so we run 3 copies of Malicious. So starting off, we run the 3 copies of Malicious, which is you can banish this card from the graveyard, special summon itself from the deck. Very useful. Until you run out, then it's not as useful. Now, I do run Plasma when this card has to be special summoned by tributing 3 monsters, which a lot of people think that's a -3, but you can steal one of your opponent's monsters, equip it to this card. It gains half of the attack points and its effect. So, pretty good. And it also nullifies all of your opponent's monsters' effects on the field. Next is Vision Hero Ferris. You can discard 1 hero monster, special summon this card from your hand, blah blah blah. Basically, this is what allows me to get an OTK with this deck. At least to get the OTK set up. But Ferris, it will allow me to discard any of these cards from my hand, and I can equip an increase to them. Increase, if I have another monster on the field, I just basically destroy it. And then I can summon a Vision, or I can just destroy him. But I run 3 copies of Ferris. Now, I run 1 copy of Stratus. Stratus, when this card's normal special summon, destroy spell or traps on the field up to the number of hero monsters you control, except for this card. Or I can add 1 hero monster from my deck to my hand. Now this includes Destiny Hero, Vision Hero, whatever. Normally I'll add a Ferris to my hand, just for that play. We also have Chrysalis. Chrysalis, basically a throwaway card, but when this card declares an attack, target 1 face-up spell or trap, destroy it, and if you do, inflict 500 damage to your opponent, blah blah blah. This is also, while you have no cards in your hand except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard. You can banish 1 Destiny Hero monster from your graveyard and draw 2 cards. That tends to be useful, from time to time at least. Dark Drawer, it's another piercing monster, or whatever. This card, when this card is summoned, I can special summon 1 level 4 or lower element, level 4 or lower hero monster, so which means I can either go into this, blah blah blah. I tend to run 2 copies. Oh, I also run 1 copy of both of these guys. And then Doom Lord, basically banish card, but you can't attack the turn you do it. It's quite annoying. I don't really use them all that often. But I do run 3 copies. He's basically a throwaway card. Now, Shadow Mist is a very good card in this deck. Basically, he has 2 effects. One is if he is special summoned, you can add 1 change quick play spell from your deck to your hand. Good. Or if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 hero monster from your graveyard to your hand. And that's normally what I do. This card, I can send any hero monster from the deck to the graveyard. Normally I'll target Shadow Mist or Malicious. And then I can banish a hero monster to get a poly to my hand. And this does not have a hard once per turn, so you can do as many times as you want. This guy does, though. So, it doesn't really matter. Increase, like I said, I equipped him to this with this guy's effect. And then I activate his to banish this, or, well, send one of these guys to the graveyard, whatever. Get him on the field, and then he allows me to go into this guy. Now we get in the hand traps. I run 2 Ash Blossoms, because Ash Blossom is just a really good card to have. Now this is more of the throwaway stuff, so Destiny Hero Double Dude. With this card special summon, you can attack twice per battle phase, blah blah blah. Basically, for me, it's just a throwaway card. Same with Fearmonger. This deck has a few throwaways, but not a whole lot. 2 Ghost Ogres, because hand traps. And then Dunker. You can send 1 Destiny Hero monster from your hand to the graveyard. Inflict 5 points of burn. This card is good because I can use it to continue with these. Same with that. I run 3 copies. Disc Commander, who was banned before but got unbanned because they revitalized his effect, basically. So he's a bit better now. And then I run 3 copies of him. Draw Hand. This card is special summoned by an effect of a hero monster. Make each player draw 1 card. During your next standby phase of this card was sent to the graveyard, you can special summon it, blah blah blah. But when it leaves the field, you banish that card. 3 copies. Defender. Mainly for a beat stick. Yes, it has a negative, well, more of a wall, more than a beat stick. Yes, it has a negative effect, but doesn't really matter, to be honest. I mean, your opponent just draws 1 card, which can be bad for you, depending on your opponent's deck, but I tend to like it. Next is 3 barreled from a different dimension, so I can just add more cards back to my graveyard, stuff like that. 2 mask charge. So I can summon out with the masked heroes. These cards are basically required in this deck if you're doing this deck. At least if you're running masked heroes like I am. And then I have 3 copies of Destiny Draw. Which Destiny Draw, or well, Fusion Destiny just really comes in handy. To basically get my Destiny hero monsters out from my deck. Mask Charge 2, basically a weaker version of Mask Charge. 3 copies of Destiny Draw. Again, basically with the Malicious, or any really of my Destiny Hero monsters, but this just allows me to draw 2 cards if I discard Destiny Hero. Originally this was only limited to 1, now it's back up to 3. Poly. Everyone knows what Polymerization does, it allows you to fusion summon. Emergency Call allows me to add an elemental hero to my deck, you know, go into Stratus or go into Solid. Or hell, sometimes even this guy can go into, which I normally don't. We have Reinforcements of the Army, allows me to add a level 4 or lower monster to my hand. Well, warrior type. Like I said, I'll sometimes go into Stratus with that. Anything really I can go into, except for, you know, Ferris and Malicious. The same with Plasma. And then we also have Called by the Grave, which is not limited to 1. Target 1 monster your opponent controls or is in your opponent's graveyard, banish that card. That could really come in handy to mess with your opponent. Next we have a Hero's Lives. If you control no face-up monster, pay half of your life points, special summon 1 elemental hero from your deck. Same, I'll normally sometimes go into Shadow Mist. Majority of the time I'll go into Stratus, because this card works if it's normal or special summoned. Whatever. Extra deck. Tornado Dragon for the spell card Destruction. It's an Xyz monster, so you have to overlay them. This just requires 2 level 4s, and as you can see, there's a lot of level 4s in this deck. This deck is mostly low. I think the only cards that like aren't level 4s is like Disc Commander, these guys, and my hand traps, and some of my level 5s and stuff. And then I have my Destiny Heroes, which is this guy. This guy can allow me to look at the top 5 cards of my deck, or sort it, or draw a card, but if I draw, I have to destroy him. Whatever. This card, just for another mask here, to get more cards in my graveyard, stuff like that. And then we also have Dystopia. Now, Dystopia, he's okay. I've had better cards, but it's just another way to get monsters in my graveyard. Here's where we get into my really good stuff, which is the Vision Heroes. Target 1 monster card in your graveyard. Target 1 monster card you control, and then target your opponent's monster. Loses attack and defense equal to the targeted monster until the end of this turn. That can be really good. And we also have Masked Hero Anarchy, with just 1 copy of him. We also have Vision Hero Trinity, which he's a really good card to have if you're looking to summon monsters like, you know, boom, 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 boom. Basically get monsters in your graveyard. Also, this guy's a really good attack monster, because if you summon him without one of my combos I use, he will have 5,000 attack points, but he can't attack directly, but he can attack 3 times, so useful. We have Dark Law, banish opponent's monster from your hand, fairly simple. This guy, this is what allows me to get an OTK. So an OTK is a 1-turn KO. Basically, I can beat my opponent in 1 turn. So, Dread Declaimer. Now, if you want the OTK, then this card is essential. Takes 3 link monsters, takes 3 link cards to summon. So it's 3 hero monsters. At this point, you should know what links are. Basically, they're essential until April 1st. Whatever. This card, also, any hero monster. This card, also, any hero monsters it points to gains 100 attack for each hero monster with a different name in your graveyard. This card attacks at a defense position monster and deal piercing damage, whatever. Simple. I run 3 copies of him, just another Link monster, Wander Divider. Don't really use his effect all that often. I mean, it's just a polymerization grabber. This guy, he is mainly used for Destiny Heroes because I can equip one to him, destroy one, etc., whatever. I do run 2 copies, 1 copy of Wandering Divider. Now, side decking, Ash Blossom, Call by the Grave, and Ghost Ogre, don't really need to talk, another Call by the Grave. I do run 2 Utopias. I prefer this art form, other than the other one, whatever. And I do run a Jar of Greed, just to draw a card. I normally side deck it. You know, a lot of people don't run traps. Now, getting to Destiny Hero Old. This is the one I run the majority of the time because it has better consistency. Basically, it has all the same monsters in it, except it runs 3 copies of Ash Blossom, 3 copies of Ghost Ogre. Everything else is the exact same. Except for I took out... Whoops. I basically just took out these guys. Basically, I took out everything from here to here in that deck. So basically, it's just a bit of a smaller deck, which is good sometimes. I need a lot of hero monsters, basically. But you guys will be seeing me duel with this deck. Before I ever post any duels, I will be doing the deck profile first. And I mean, if you look at all the decks I have a lot of decks to be doing deck profiles with. So if you guys enjoyed that video, like, subscribe, comment, blah, 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 etc., etc. Basically, do whatever you want. Be a good person. If you're not, I don't really care. Until next time, this is Mob Sans saying peace.